Welcome back, everybody. Sive here with ForexPeaceArmy.com. Let's finally take a look at the Bitcoin market today. So it's a third video. In fact, on the cryptocurrencies, we do not have as a lot of changes as on other markets. For instance, today it's really situation has changed significantly as on the euro currency, on the gold. But since Bitcoin stands in a free fall for a really extended time already, it hasn't shown a lot of changes. So on the daily and weekly chart, everything remains really bad. So actually, as I already said about this, as this collapsed, almost tells that this bullish pattern is doomed. Probably we will not get it because next week will be very short due to Thanksgiving, and chances to rebound for the Bitcoin right back up, it's really almost near the zero. But from that standpoint of view, chances on getting some big bearish pattern are rising. And if you take a look at the weekly chart, we should once again recall this potential pattern. Currently the downward action is a bit slowed just because of the daily weekly oversold area. So you can see markets just slowing down in its downward action once it touched the oversold. But overall context remains the same, and the shape of the pattern is also clear. So potentially the nearest area that market could reach stands around 75.80, where the neckline stands. We already talked about this on the daily chart as well. So if we consider next downside target, it stands precisely at 79, which agrees with the neckline that we have. On the daily chart, we do not have lots of changes. Market is still calling around the support of around 90-95 area. Here it has completed the OP target, AB equals CD, and makes an agreement for the support. Although you could see some pressure exist here, but with the weekly oversold in place, I still wouldn't exclude the possible bounce here. I'm not speaking about the major reversal, but some technical response, especially close to the end of the week, where it might happen. Let's tell it in this way. So it's a different question whether it makes sense to take the position with it or not. But if you're considering taking the short, definitely it would be better to wait, as we said already, and waiting for the bounce. As a target of the bounce, we already mentioned an area around 97,100, like here, right here. So this previous lows, and you can see some support cluster stands right between the 97.15 up to the 125. So you could see this area seems interesting for potential taking the short position. Now about scalp long position. So if you're intraday trader, I just give you the setup what actually is forming right here, but whether to take it or not is up to you. So you take a look down here, we have clear shape of the double ripple buy pattern. We have thrust to the downside, first retracement, creating the new lows, attempt to break the lows, and you can see how fast market return right back up. It means that the bears in short term has failed, has been defeated on their attempt to break market down, and bulls have taken control in the short term. This pattern, it's too small to speak about. That might be some really big reversal, but at least the target of this pattern usually the 50% of the whole downward action of the thrust, which is approximately in the same area that we discussed, 98, sorry. So if you're just thinking about taking scalp long or not, maybe it will be helpful to make the decision how you theoretically could try to deal with it. If you take a look at the hourly chart, well, first of all, this is our hand shorts that has not been formed. If you remember, we said that if market will form something like this, maybe we'll get the bounce and you could consider taking short-term bullish position. But this hasn't happened. You can see market even hasn't formed and just collapsed. Now you can see here on the bottom, we have minor butterfly and what I just was speaking about, fast upward appreciation. So here you could wait for retracement to the downside within this most recent upward action, either 30% support or even deeper. You could choose by yourself, and you will have to buy against these lows. So placing stop here, because if market will show any respect, any pullback, it will show it right from here, from this most recent swing, and somewhere from this area. Otherwise, it will not show it at all and start moving to the downside, breaking the lows. That's why it makes no sense to place tight far standing stops or searching for something else. That will be the only scenario that might trigger any pullback. and it's very clear. So that's why it's more or less attractive, and you could try, especially if you will be able to take the position somewhere on the halfway to this most versatile prediction, just with a very small potential risk. So that in towards what we have on the Bitcoin is the bottom line. Context remains bearish, but market slightly oversold. That's why for taking new short position, we're waiting for a bounce. Correspondingly, on the long-term charts, on the daily, on the weekly, we are not considering any long positions. So context remains bearish. On the intraday charts, we have some patterns, and if you're a scalp trader, you could try to make a bet on the minor pullback somewhere in an area between 98, 100 level. So if retracement starts, it probably could try to reach this level. So that's all that we have. See you next time.